So the new Legends and Flashbacks collection is coming this Friday in 2 days on June 13th. We have no idea who it's going to be, but it's going to be a juicy 99. I have a feeling it's going to be better than the Scott Rowland card, which has been great for me. But regardless, today I'm going to be going over each collection and what my predictions are and some cards that you should buy now and, just give my overall thoughts on how you can prepare for it. So let's get into it. So first of all, there are two things that I want to say. For all of the collections that have a player in them, it's pretty much confirmed that that's going to be the voucher, and it's going to be the final reward. It's not going to be like for Moonshot, it's going to require Buxton. It's not going to require Grandal. So, it'll have DeGrom in there, DeVries, Sasaki, Santander, Donaldson, Seager are definitely going to be in the collection. And then also the Honus Wagner, and then the Jolt card, or not the Jolt cards, the Color Storm cards. We know it's going to be 15. It literally says it. And then also there's some general chatter across the community on whether we are going to be, skipping 2 this time, because if we go to the calendar really quickly, you see those like emojis. There was some article somewhere that said that that's going to be another collection. So it's going to be another one of these collections like Pipeline Pass, Moonshot, Egg Hunt, which is definitely going to be a part of the collection. So that alone is one thing. And we've gotten a ton of new collections lately, so maybe we'll be able to skip 2, but for now I'm just going to keep it at 1 until we actually see it be 2 in the game. Starting off with Jolt, this one is pretty simple. These guys are all free in Team Affinity. I had all 30 like a couple weeks before the Scott Rowland collection came out. I think this is going to be at 20. Nice even number, but ultimately, these aren't that hard to get, in all honesty. Moving on to Contributor, they haven't added, they've barely added any cards to a bunch of these series, which is a little interesting. They only added this Lou Gehrig to Contributor, and he's a free card, but I have my predictions for Contributor. I have 30 of 32, so you can skip 2 cards. For Contributor, if you have Live Series collections done already, you can just skip Stargell and Lau, because everyone else is pretty cheap besides maybe Beltray. Yeah, but this one isn't going to be that difficult. A lot of these cards are either collection rewards or previous multiplayer program awards, or just guys from Team Affinity, so this one shouldn't be that hard. They have not added a single last ride card besides this Ralph Kiner from the 3rd inning Cornerstone. So, I'm pretty sure it's just going to be 13 out of 15. You just add the Ralph Kiner and you get the voucher. I don't think they're going to make it be all of them unless they add another last ride card on Friday. But yeah, this is free. Assuming that you don't need Nolan Ryan, this is literally a free voucher or actually no, it's not free because this is a collection reward. Yeah, so I messed that up in my my Excel, but regardless, besides Larry Walker, this is free, and the Cardinals collection is dirt cheap anyway. Moving on to rookies, another situation where they didn't add anyone except that new Devin Williams. I will say, if you don't have the Dodgers done, which most people do not, you're going to need this Devin Williams. So this card is probably going to go up a lot in price, especially because you can't get him anywhere anymore because he was just in the Weekend Classic. So this is definitely a guy who I think is going to go up, and he won't be in a flash sale. But if you have Valenzuela and of course the rest of these, this is pretty easy. I'm not going to have to lock in Williams. I'll just lock in Valenzuela because I think it'll just be 11 out of 12 unless they drop another rookie. For Breakout, again, kind of the same thing. They only added 1 Breakout since the Scott Rowland collection, and that is this Ryan Helsley from BR. They're not going to make you lock in Ryan Helsley. Obviously, this Whit Merrifield is expensive because he's the Royals collection. So, you're kind of screwed if you don't have either Helsley or Whit. But I think they will do, I said 10. Yeah, I have 10 out of the 11. Hank Greenberg, Jonathan Weiziga, and Shane McClanahan. I will say this Hank Greenberg is probably, I don't know if he's a good buy because I think they'll just put these packs in the flash sale again like they did last time. But regardless, Breakout overall shouldn't be that hard. Just like last time, All-Star is probably going to be one of the hardest. I am a little over-prepared for All-Star, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to get this Bob Feller. I'm going to get all three of these bosses. I'm just going to buy them because they're already 35K, and they're probably going to go down even more. So the only one I won't have is Acuna. Yeah, I have every single other All-Star, which is pretty crazy. But this one is probably going to be one that a lot of people skip. There are just a ton of chase cards, a ton of BR cards, a ton of ranked cards. It really adds up. And I think, so right now we have how many All-Stars in the game? We have 51. So, you know, I have the All-Star voucher at 47 out of 51, meaning you can only skip 4. So probably a couple chase cards like Acuna, maybe Jordan you skip. You'll probably skip maybe Dawson. Dawson is super expensive, yeah. So this one is going to be really difficult and probably what most people are going to skip, but it ultimately depends on a few things. Veteran is kind of like all the other ones besides All-Star. They didn't really add any cards. The only cards that they added, this Craig Kimbrell and this Justin Turner, both of them are from Cornerstones from 3rd inning and 4th inning. But besides that, I mean, this is pretty simple. I mean, all these guys are in Team Affinity, and then there's what, 2 collections or 3 collections with the Mets. But you're not going to need this Santana if you don't have the Mets. I think you'll be able to skip 1 veteran, and if you don't have the Mets collection, you'll just need this Andy Pettitte, who's dirt cheap. But overall, veteran, you know, pretty easy. Moving on to second half. Second half is a little harder, but it's not that bad. Right now there are 21 cards. I'm just going to say 20, and all these numbers are not counting, you know, new cards that they might add in Friday's content update. So that's one thing too. Except for Spotlight and Tops Now, which I'll get into later. But second half, I kind of have the same thing. I think you'll need everyone but 1. So I think 20 out of 21. And if you have collections done, you won't need Randy Johnson. But obviously Chase Headley's the NL West. He's almost 1 million stubs just to get. So if you don't have that, you're going to need Randy. But, you know, I could see this Ryan Sandberg going up in price. I know that they crashed because of the Weekend Classic rewind packs. I sold them right before the Weekend Classic because I knew it was going to happen. But I think they could go back up pretty decently. Same with this Brian Dozier, even though a ton of people have him. But second half is probably going to be sneaky difficult for people that don't have the Chase Headley. Postseason, this is another one where they've actually added a couple. I'll give them that. But for postseason, I think this one is also going to be pretty easy. For postseason, there are 14 cards in the game right now, and I think you'll need 12. I think you'll be able to skip 2. And the ones that I'm going to be skipping are just 2 sellable guys. So one of Young, Ford, Gloss, and Steve Carlton. Those guys are all dirt cheap. I mean, 5K, 5K, 9K, and 8K. So, I mean, if you need to buy 2 of them, that's not going to be a big deal. And I don't think they're going to go up in price because he's in Diamond Quest. He's a headliner, and he was in the rewind pack. Standout is going to be very difficult. I'm going to say that. This is another one that some people might skip, but I will say that the All-Star one is probably going to be a bigger challenge. If you don't have the AL East, this is probably going to be one that you're going to want to skip because these 2 cards are a ton of stubs. Obviously, Don Baylor's the AL West, but he's cheaper. The rest of these guys are they're either offline cards or cheap diamonds, I will say, besides Rengifo and Posada. I have Standout at 13 out of 15. I think you'll be able to skip 2. For me, the ones that I'm going to be skipping are the Al Leiter and the Luis Rengifo. I'm just going to sell him because I won't need him. I don't want to have to lock in BR cards that are going to crash in price once they're available in rewind packs. I'd rather lock in a chase card that's always going to be expensive, so I'll just always have it. But you're probably going to need one of Rengifo, Posada, and Leiter, and that's with O'Day and Baylor. So if you don't have Beltran, this is going to be really difficult. But if you do have Beltran, it won't be that difficult. Moving on to Spotlight. Now, these numbers that I have for Spotlight, 48 out of 51. That does include the first June Spotlight content program that's going to come out on Friday. That also is that's basically Harper and Santana, assuming you have all 4 Lightning cards, plus 3. So if you want to, I might buy these 3 just to have them. But you can get 3 with the new content that comes out. So you won't. I don't think you're gonna have to have all of them, including the new ones that come out. I think you'll be able to skip 3, including the new ones. So if you have the extra 3 that you didn't do in the collection, I think you'll need them. But overall, this one is very difficult. Obviously, it's difficult to get these collections done for the Retro Lightning, but it's kind of just one where if you have it done already, then it's going to be light work. Topps Now is the same thing. This has the future, the 1st June. I can't even speak right now. The 1st June program factored into the numbers for Topps Now. Topps Now, 80 out of 82. There's a lot of Topps Now cards. I think you'll be able to skip 2. Obviously, going to be skipping Willie Castro. He's so much. And then probably just one of these guys that isn't a Diamond Quest, because those are really cheap. The rest of these you're just going to need to buy if you don't have them. I hope you guys haven't been selling your Topps Now cards, because this is going to be a doozy if you have. But if you've just been holding on to them and buying them, then you'll be fine. Cornerstone, this one's pretty simple. You're going to need all 12. If you don't have all 12, I don't know what to say. These are very easy to get. Now we have 2 more card series that didn't have a collection in the Scott Rowland that are definitely going to have a collection in this one, and that is Awards and Milestone. So let's start with Awards. This one is going to be really bad. I think that, let's assume that it's only these 7 awards cards and they don't add another one, which they might. I think it'll be 6 out of the 7. So you have Roger Clemens, who's the AL collection. You have Scott Rowland, who's the previous collection, who's actually pretty easy to get now. I think he's around 300K-ish. Jim Rice, who's a brand new BR award, 120K. Dennis Eckersley, who's an old BR award, 110K. Jonah Heim, another old BR award of 86. Ted Simmons, NL Central collection, and then a headliner. I will say, if you guys know you're not going to get this collection done, you might as well wait and do the awards voucher, because this Jonah Heim is in the rewind pack, and so is Eckersley, and then you have LeMahieu, Ted Simmons, and Scott Rowland. So let's say you don't have Clemens, you'll have LeMahieu, Simmons, Heim, Rowland, Eckersley, and then you'll still need one of the 2, so it's still going to be a challenge. But yeah, awards is probably going to be the one that I skip. I could do it if I wanted to. I just want to sell these BR awards before they crash in price. And then lastly, we have Milestone. This Grady Sizemore has already skyrocketed in price. I think he's going to keep going up. This is probably one of the cards that is going to just go all the way up in price. For Milestone, assuming they don't add any more, I have 4 out of 5. I don't think you'll need the Soriano, but maybe you will. Maybe they'll add another Milestone into the game on Friday, but they literally just added 4 in 4 days. I'm gonna obviously finish the multiplayer program. Well, I cannot speak today, and then maybe I'll make World Series in time. Maybe I won't, but I don't really think you'll need the Soriano. But regardless, this is going to be a big challenge because you have the NL East. This guy's in the X-Sphere Award path, so that's pretty easy. But then this one is also, in all honesty, if you have the NL Central done and you just buy Grady Sizemore, you should be fine. But that's the thing. It's just this is why you should always do Beltron before you start doing these other collections, because having the live series collections done makes it so much easier to do the Legends and Flashbacks collection. So here's my Excel model. Yeah, I have every single series here, the new collection here. This is the one I was talking about on the calendar with the emojis. But overall, this collection, I currently have it where I'm skipping awards. It's going to cost $4 million. Yeah, that's a lot. This is double of my projection for Scott Rowland. There's so many more, just awards. There's awards and Milestone single-handedly increases this a lot. Standout, having a lot of guys in Standout now, increases this a lot. All-Star also increases this a lot. This is going to be a challenge, but I'm definitely ready for it. But are you? That's the real question. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. If you guys are new here, follow me on all my social medias, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, but most importantly, make sure to subscribe on here on YouTube. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.